another edition of Infield Fly. I am at the Grind City Media Resorts here today. And apparently the sun is behind me.
No, don't worry about it.
That's all right. I have to do it this way because when I was in the sun, everything burned.
Yeah.
Out.
Including the Cardinals.
My iPad, yeah.
Fish,
Just like
it looked like you're giving testimony for Sammy the Bull, man.
I got my new Cardinals shirt on. I don't know if you can see Jordan Walker.
Nice.
Got my new Jordan Walker shirt. Thanks to my friend Sean who hooked me up with that.
Is that one of those ones you get your money back when you trade the guy?
Well, I don't know. Hopefully that won't happen. We got a lot to talk about today as the trade deadline is approaching. We got a lot of stuff to get into. Our teams, Cubs and Cardinals, just did battle over the weekend. Wasn't good for the Cardinals. Good for you, Murph. Trade deadline coming up and a lot of stuff going on. We had a big battle with Baltimore and Tampa as well. We got a new first place team in the American League East. So a lot of things going on. But guys, the big story, of course, is it's still more about Shohei and everyone making predictions. What's going to happen? The trade deadline's coming up this week. And is he going to be an Angel? Is he going to be dealt? He homered in his last game, his last home game before the deadline. So a little drama there. What happens to Shohei Ohtani? Murph, what happens?
I think they're not gonna trade him this season.
You think they're gonna let him, they're gonna ride it out?
They're gonna ride it out. They're gonna try to woo him, say, hey, we'll try to give you this, we'll give you that, stay with us. I just don't see a trade like that happen. I mean, Lane, what do you think? Do you think that's such a crazy trade to make, right? In the middle of the season. I just don't see it happening.
I think if someone who works in sports front offices once told me that whenever all these rumors come around, like someone told me when there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
Most of the time. And in this case, there's not a lot of smoke. You know, it's mainly like people like us talking about it.
Right.
We haven't heard.
Right.
We haven't heard like this team has offered this or this team is that or it's normally the stuff we keep seeing is stuff like, oh, this team could be in the mix. This team has the right type of packages available, but there hasn't been much smoke, and that makes me think a week ahead of this trade deadline that they're probably not going to trade him.
Yeah,
I think I'm with you both. Yeah, all the smoke is coming from Buster Olney. I mean, and people like us, bringing up teams. And it's not really no deals are said. It's more, well, the Yankees seem to be a team, or the Dodgers could be the team. Or I mean, we're just throwing teams out there that make sense that could go out after Shohei Ohtani, but there's nothing substantial. So I'm with you guys. I think he stays with the Angels. I think it's dangerous for the Angels.
Yes.
I mean, my goodness, can you imagine letting this guy go for nothing? I mean, that would be awful. But I don't know. They got new ownership. Maybe they had a nice little homestand here. They're in the mix for a playoff spot. They'd love to get Mike Trout back as soon as possible. But I'm more interested to see if they're going to be buyers. Are they going to actually be active at the trade deadline to try and put a team around to try and make the playoffs this year? Because I think to keep Shohei Ohtani, that might be of utmost importance of making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to end up trying to do. I think they're going to just out of goodwill to show them, hey, we're not going to quit. We're going to still try to go after this playoff. Also, I think it's Shohei's people doing this. I think it's Shohei's management and his agents kind of putting that bug in Oni's ear, like just saying, hey, say this, say that. This might we had some fillers from this team, that team. I think it's just old school agents doing old school agents things that we used to see in the 80s and 90s when you hear about these sort of things, because there's no one else talking about it. There's no other outlets are really talking about it except him. He's like a one-man Shohei trade rumor blog.
I just don't think, like, if you are the Angels, I think the smart thing to do would be trade him. Just get the biggest package you can, trade him, tear the thing down. It hasn't worked, right? Trade Trout too. Just get everything you can and start over. At the same time, going out and making a trade at the trade deadline to try to like show him you're committed to winning? Like, what does that mean? Like, are you going to go out and trade for Jock Peterson or, like one of the retreads that gets traded every year at the trade deadline or one of those type of things? Like, I don't know. Like, if I was Ohtani, I'd rather them show me they want to win by doing more things in the off season, not just trading for like a long relief pitcher or something,
Right.
I don't know.
A couple of guys that I saw in a story today about possible deals. Justin Verlander being rumored to go to San Francisco.
Yep, heard that too.
I guess that would be the Mets just kind of saying,
Oh, that's the white flag all the way around. That's it.
Oof.
I honestly, if Verlander leaves, I can just honestly just see them just going crazy with the starting pitcher and just unloading their starting pitchers. Just
I mean, why not at that point? The other guy, of course, one of yours, Marcus Stroman. The latest was Marcus Stroman to Tampa. Interesting.
Just hold on to the man. We're in the mix. We're still scrapping, man. Come on, don't do this to Cubs fans. Come on.
Yeah, man. I swear to God, watching all weekend, watching Cody Bellinger, all I could think about is how can you get rid of this guy? He's been unbelievable this year for the Cubs.
Man, you try to get that double discount or whatever, you just sit that man down, strap him down and say, hey, we're the team that took a chance on you. We don't want to lowball you, but hey, this is what we think you're worth.
Yeah. And then the other name was Dylan Cease from the Chicago White Sox. Houston being named. I'd be surprised if Houston didn't go out and try and get a pitcher.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I like that for Cease just to get out of there.
Yeah, no kidding. The other big story, the Hall of Fame inducted 2 new players yesterday, Freddie McGriff and Scott Rowland, both going into the Hall of Fame. McGriff reached the 30 home run mark in 10 seasons, became the first player in history to hit 30 or more home runs with 5 different franchises. Pretty remarkable. And Scott Rowland, 8 Gold Gloves at third base, 4th most all-time, trailing Brooks Robinson, Mike Schmidt, and Nolan Arenado. Robinson had 16, Schmidt and Arenado with 10, Rowland had 8. Scott Rowland goes in as a St. Louis Cardinal. Do you remember Scott Rowland as a Cardinal or more as a Philly?
To me, a Philly.
Yeah, me too.
I'll take him. I'll take him as a Hall of Famer. That's fine. Just add another to the list.
Yeah, I have no issue. Like I see a lot of people griping about the crime dog and Rowland. Like it puts the steroid era in perspective. When you see these type of guys going in, that all of these inflated stats, these guys were just doing it the old-fashioned way. I got no issue, especially with McGriff. I hear all these little gripes going on, like real shade going on about this dude, man. Let that man live,
Lang, where's McGriff on your favorite Braves?
He's up there, top 20 probably. I don't know, like if I'd put him ahead of all-time first baseman, not on the Braves, not ahead of Freeman, maybe tied with Galarraga, the big cat somewhere in there. Matt Olson's up in the mix now too. I don't know. Chris Chambliss, if we're going old school.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I mean, I also thought about Fred McGriff. He should go in wearing a Tom Amansky hat. Because remember, like when all of us were growing up, like every commercial on SportsCenter was Tom Amansky, was Fred McGriff.
Yeah.
I approve. Yeah,
it's the tape that gets results.
Yeah,
Fred McGriff. Yeah, he should have gone in a Tom Amansky hat. That's a great point. Speaking of the Braves, struggled a little bit, losing 2 of 3 at Arizona, but then come back, win 2 of 3 against Milwaukee. Ozzie Albies hit his 23rd home run to win the finale of that series. Mike Soroka gets himself a win, but the story was Austin Riley. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Austin Riley's on a bit of a tear.
He's been cold for so long, and then all of a sudden everyone else kind of, I wouldn't say got cold, but everyone else cooled off a little bit, and Riley just got red hot. Home runs 5 games in a row. Finally broke that streak yesterday, and Albies hit a game winner. So yeah, good to see him kind of break out of it a little bit. Soroka got sent back down after the game yesterday. So I don't know what that means long-term for him. I think because he has a lot of options left, they're going to try and just kind of send him up and down when they need him the rest of the way. So
are the Braves going to surprise us and make a move at the deadline?
I bet they do. I don't know if they'll get a pitcher. That's the thing, is Anthopoulos has been so good about sort of like last offseason, he went and traded for Sean Murphy when we already had Contreras and d'Arnaud. So like he'll just go get the best player he can and then figure out what to do with them. I remember a couple of years ago when he went and got Soler and Peterson and and Rosario and all those guys at the trade deadline. So I think he'll just do whatever the best option is and go get that player and then figure out how to fit him in later. We need a pitcher, but I don't know if that's what he'll do.
Austin Riley's 5 straight games with a home run tied the longest streak in Braves franchise history. He had 16 RBIs over 5 games. That tied for the most by a Braves player in a 5-game span since RBIs became official. Also became the first Braves player with at least 5 homers, 13 RBIs in a 4-game span since Eddie Matthews when he did it for the Milwaukee Braves in 1959. Also, Olson's 32 home runs this season are the most by a Braves player before August since Andrew Jones hit 32 in 2005. And the only Braves player to hit more home runs before August was Andres Galarraga, had 33 in 1998. And Spencer Strider, 354 strikeouts in his first 40 career starts, the most by any pitcher since the mound was set to its current distance in 1893.
That's a good stat.
That's an insane stat.
I don't know, my friend, after the Braves lost all those games to the Diamondbacks, my friends and I were texting, and I said, you know what? Like, I'd kind of rather us be cold right now than get cold like at the end of the season, which is every other year in the 90s and the 2000s. That used to happen. Like we'd get real hot. They'd bench all the players at the end of the season to let them rest for the playoffs. Then the playoffs would start and they were just ice cold. I'd rather kind of go through that spell now and break out of it when the postseason starts.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Cubs 5-2 in their last 7 games, won 2 of 3 against Washington, won 3 of 4.
Look at Murph smiling.
Cardinals, Murph smiling. Cody Bellinger hit his 13th and 14th driving 4 in another game, and pretty impressive stuff from the Cubs against the Cardinals. Impressive stuff against Washington. Patrick Wisdom, a couple of home runs. Cubs scored 20 runs in the 7th inning or later in 2 games against Washington, tied for the second most in a 2-game span in team history. The only larger one came in 1883. My gosh. And against the Cardinals, Justin Steele now 10-3 on the season. You got a guy on your team named Mastroboni who hit a home run. Who's this guy? Hit his first career homer. Yeah, I texted you that guy.
Yeah. This is the craziest name, man.
I was so bored in Atlanta or in Nashville for SEC Media Days. I was texting Lang about this guy. I'm like, who is this guy for the Cubs?
Yeah,
that's when Lang told me I needed to come home.
Listen, that was crazy. Jamison Telling, I can't like this dude was dealing with, at the Yankee Stadium. Everybody was like, he's a revelation. Wondering if he can do this again. Then he kind of tailed off a little bit. Then like the last 3 games, man, he's like been dealing like with a 1.80 ERA. So we're getting production everywhere. Bellinger I can't say enough about this guy. And it's one of the brilliant pickups. If there's going to be like a GM pickup of the year, rolling the dice on the guy, that's the guy. Nobody thought he was going to be able to find his swing again in this way. So
I did.
You did, and you did say that you want your Cardinals to go after him, didn't you?
I did. I liked Cody Bellinger. I like that pick for the Cubs.
I will admit that. So I want him some sort of way with the Cubs, just to kind of just figure something out. Nothing too exorbitant. Just keep it really respectful. Let them know that we got him off the trash heap. That's what happened.
The trash that you guys paid him like $20 million.
Well, come on. That's MLB's that's pocket change from MLB.
Yeah, that's
like running back money, in the
NFL. quick aside to that, did you guys? I saw on SportsCenter this morning. They said the running backs, all the NFL running backs had a Zoom call.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
talking about the state of the position, and it said on the bottom, Nick Chubb said, "There's not a lot we could do." I was like, yeah.
It's a sad state of affairs, man.
Sorry, guys.
It's crazy.
What are you going to do? Start your own union? Yeah, that'll work. You're 6.5 out, Murph. 3 games under 500.
I feel good. I I think that let's be biased.
The Braves did some work for you guys this weekend.
Oh, thank you for that. I was glad. Listen, whenever you get a chance to beat anybody that's in a closer division or wild card or whatever, please just keep pounding them, man. Like
Yeah.
I was looking at that score like relentlessly, like, oh please, just don't take this night off to be like the regular, Braves, like y'all were like a few games ago, man. Just pour it on, man. So yeah, I can't say enough about the Cubs right now, man. I'm very impressed how they've been keeping their heads above water.
Yeah, and Cincinnati and Milwaukee playing each other this week, so maybe they can beat each other up and
Please,
can just kind of sneak your way up a little bit more.
Yeah, if we get it like Fish, if we get like, I want to say two behind, like really late, I like our chances to catch up.
Well, you got 4 more chances against the Cardinals this weekend, so you can do that.
I mean, I'm gonna flip the channel on you, man. Like, what's up with your Cardinals, dude?
Well, the Cardinals are out of last place. That's good. Thanks to the Pirates being just miserable. Cardinals have jumped ahead of the Pirates. Cardinals still 4.5 back of the Cubs. Cardinals did sweep the Marlins in 3 games. Nolan Arenado had a 4 RBI game and a walk-off home run game. Nolan Gorman hit his 19th. Then lost 3 of 4 in Chicago. And the most remarkable thing about the series was Steven Matz got his first win of the year, beating Marcus Stroman. That was pretty remarkable. Jordan Walker hit his 9th home run of the season, the most in a season by a Cardinals player at age 21 or younger since Albert Pujols in 2001. Pujols hit 37, so we still have another 28 for Walker to use that stat. Nolan Gorman did hit his 20th home run. Cardinals continue to throw lineups out there that are embarrassing. I don't understand. And I know some guys are banged up now all of a sudden, but when you're playing the Cubs in a 4-game series and games, actually every game is kind of important at this point. If you're the Cardinals, if you want any chance to try and get in the race, and you're just resting guys. I mean, yesterday you rest Gorman, you rest Walker, Contreras is hurt, he doesn't play. Goldschmidt doesn't play. You sent down Felix Fermin because he couldn't play at this level, and you didn't even pinch hit for him on Saturday. You screwed up all your pinch hitting work on Saturday and let Fermin hit late in the game in a key spot. He couldn't hit, so you send him back down to the minor leagues. You bring up the Trey Motter, and he starts yesterday. It doesn't make sense. The lineups that the Cardinals have. They have 9 good players that should be playing every single day, and they're not doing that. And it's amazing.
Maybe they're just tanking.
I mean, maybe they are.
It sure feels like it, because it doesn't make sense to me. This isn't a load management sport, for crying out loud. It's baseball. Play the guys. Makes no sense. And the Cardinals are doing it. And
what's wrong with Goldsmith? What's wrong with Goldsmith? What's going on with him?
I guess he needed a day off.
Hey, all of us need a day off sometimes, Fish.
Which is day to day.
And it's not like these were afternoon games following night games. These were just afternoon games in Chicago. He plays first base. What does he need a day off for?
I know, right? It's not like he's running everywhere. That's funny.
He's big. He's large.
Yeah. All right. I'm tired of the lineups that they're throwing out. It's like getaway day every day for the Cardinals.
Are they doing the Walking Dead thing with the coach yet? Is that happening with the manager? Like, are they like looking at that? Is like they're looking at
Fish has been doing it for 2 years.
Because I know you've been doing it for 2 years, but I'm talking about what Cardinals brass are thinking, like what the rumors are. Like, are they kind of like looking at this dude like, he won't be here for that?
No, Cardinals have actually taken a little responsibility by saying they didn't do enough last year. But now it's all about, pitching for this trade deadline and for next season, which it's a little late for that, considering going into this season, we knew the deal that every pitcher was going to be gone after this season, either retired or contracts are up. Every one of them, every one of your starting pitchers are gone after this year, and you have nothing in reserve, nothing. So this isn't just a this year problem. This is something that could be a problem going forward for the Cardinals. And for Cardinals fans, unacceptable. We do not rebuild. We reload.
Boy, I'm glad we beat you guys 3 times in a row. I'm glad.
Oh my God.
I'm so happy.
I know. And I'm looking forward to the 4 games this week too. That'll be fun. Hey, Christmas in July. Have you heard about Christmas?
I have.
It's presented by Ashley. Continues through the end of the month. Enter daily at grizzlies.com/Grizmas for your chance to win tickets, autographed jerseys, gift cards, and the grand prize, 2 floor seats to a future Grizzlies game and 1 queen-size Tempur-Pro Adapt hybrid mattress. Wow. I could use that down here on vacation, to be honest with you. Drake is also bringing his highly anticipated 2023 It's All a Blur tour with 21 Savage to FedEx Forum. It's Sunday, August 6th. Tickets are on sale at Ticketmaster.com or FedEx Forum box office. For more information, call or visit FedExForum.com. All right, some news from around Major League Baseball in the National League. The East, the Braves are the top team in the National League East, and you have a pretty sizable lead in that division, 11.5 games over both the Marlins and the Phillies. This is a remarkable 18.5 game lead over the Mets.
Insane.
18.5.
Insane. Just nuts.
Wow.
Just nuts.
They're 7 games under 500.
Not right. Not like that.
No.
Jeez.
And the Marlins aren't doing well. They're 11.5 out. They're 7 games over 500. They were swept in St. Louis. Sandy Alcantara falls to 3-9. Then they lost 2 of 3 to Colorado. Did snap an 8-game skid, but they've lost 8 of their last 9. And Luis Arise now hitting 375. Only 375.
I don't know what happened to Alcantara.
I mean, this is a Cy Young Award winner last year.
Yeah, but he hasn't been good all season, really.
And it's not like he's 3-9 and just running into bad luck.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the surprises in baseball this year. Philadelphia, they lost 2 of 3 to Milwaukee. Schwarber hit his 26th.
Yeah.
And then they lost 2 of 3 at Cleveland. Bryce Harper playing first base now.
Yeah.
I'm not really scared of the Phillies. I wasn't last year though either. And they went to the World Series.
I'm not really either. I saw them play in Miami when I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know. It just feels like they don't have a lot of like spark. Trey Turner hasn't been very good either.
No.
I saw
Hoskins is out.
Yeah, I saw a stat thing the other day that like Trey Turner, it's not like he's had like a bad week. It's just been bad all season for them, or not bad, but hasn't lived up to that contract. So.
Yeah. Mets certainly haven't lived up to their contract. They won 2 of 3 at the White Sox, lost 2 of 3 at Boston. Justin Verlander improved to 4-5 on the season. Max Scherzer roughed up, and he falls to 8-4 for the Mets. What a mess that has been. And Washington, they lost 2 of 3 at Chicago. Then they sweep San Francisco. First 3-game sweep for the Nationals since 2021. How about that?
Yeah, it was a strange one.
That's been a minute. National League Central, Brewers are on top after winning 2 of 3 at Philadelphia. They did lose 2 of 3 to the Braves, but Corbin Burns had 8 shutout innings, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts. He improved to 10-5 on the season. They got an important series to start the week with Cincinnati. Reds are a half game out. They split 4 with San Francisco. Andrew Abbott continues to pitch well. The rookie went 8 scoreless. He's now 5-2. Matt McClain, the rookie shortstop, grand slam, hit number 9 and also hit number 10. Ellie De La Cruz hit his 5th home run of the season as they sweep Arizona and sweep 3 games to remain just a half game behind the Brewers. Luke Weaver of Cincinnati has an ERA of 8.79 in his last 10 starts. The Reds are 9-1 in those games. How odd is that?
What are they doing? Like, they're giving that man some support.
He's getting some run support. No kidding. Man, 8.79 in his last 10 starts, and the Reds are 9-1. The Reds, meanwhile, are 24-10 since Ellie De La Cruz made his debut. And the Pirates, oh my goodness. They lost 2 of 3 at Cleveland, lost 2 of 3 at the Angels. They've lost 24 of 29 games. Henry Davis, he's a rookie for the Pirates, hit his 3rd and 4th home runs, both off of Shohei Ohtani. First player with a 2-home run game off Shohei Ohtani, and he's played 29 career games. So that's impressive for Henry Davis. Congratulations to him. And then in the National League West, you got the Dodgers in their rightful spot in first place. They won 2 of 3 at Baltimore, 2 of 3 at Texas. Freddie Freeman with 3 home runs in that series. Freddie is the first player in Dodgers history with 20 homers and 35 doubles before August. Also the first player in baseball history to have 20 homers, 35 doubles, 125 hits, 10 stolen bases, and 40 walks before August. First player in MLB history. Is Freddie Freeman sneaking up on Ronald Acuna for the National League MVP?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't watch the Dodgers. They play so late at night.
Looks like it.
Maybe he is.
I mean, he's not crying anymore, which is good.
Well, that is good. That is good.
Maybe he was happy because he got to play with all the Braves at the All-Star game, and now he's fine.
I think if Acuna just doesn't go in a terrible slump,
he'll be fine. Yeah.
I think he's got such a lead because of what he's done all season that it'll be tough to sway people's opinion away from Ronald for the MVP this year. I think.
It's also like, like every year, like happens in the NFL too. Like, I mean, NBA too, where like somebody is like the runaway guy for the MVP. And then like like with a month left, everyone starts bringing up somebody like in Jokic this year. And everybody was like, oh, what about Embiid? And then Jokic wins the thing running away. I feel like that's probably what this is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ronald's he's still in good spot. The Arizona Diamondbacks, they are 4 games back now. They were swept in Cincinnati in 3 games. Corbin Carroll's got 21 home runs now for Arizona, that rookie, who will probably be rookie of the year. San Francisco, meanwhile, they split 4 at Cincinnati, swept 3 at Washington. They've won 20 of their last 30, but lost 5 of their last 7. They are 4 games back. Padres are 10 games out. Joe Musgrove did win his 8th straight decision to go to 9-2. Juan Soto had a 2-home run game. He's got 19 on the season. How about this? Blake Snell, before the Padres signed Gary Sanchez, who was just out there, signed him off the street. Blake Snell, before they signed Sanchez, had 10 starts and a 5.04 ERA. Since they signed Sanchez, 10 starts, a 0.65 ERA. Gary Sanchez. Never known to be a good catcher. Apparently, it's good for Blake Snell. Yep. Chris Bryant hit his 8th home run for Colorado.
Yeah, it's kind of like the tree in the wilderness, man. Like nobody can hear it. Like I don't even. That's just not even right. Like
it's sad.
Brian shouldn't even be.
He's falling apart.
It's just like, come on, man. Like you want to spend your last remaining good years in Colorado? Come on.
It's a nice place to live.
Oh no, it's great. I am not talking about. I'm not talking about the state of Colorado. I got family out there. Don't be sending hate mail. Don't be hating on me. I'm just saying, as a franchise, come on, dude.
Yeah. He's just kind of stuck. That's too bad. American League East, Baltimore is in first place of the East after the All-Star break for the first time since 2016. Baltimore's won 12 of their last 15. They got a 2-game lead now on the Rays, who have lost 14 of their last 18 games, including a loss in Texas where they had a wild pitch with 2 outs in the 9th inning, lost that game. So Tampa now 2 games back. Toronto climbing up. They're 6.5 back. Vladimir Guerrero hitting 16 and 17 this week. Boston, they are 8.5 back along with the Yankees. Boston's won 10 of their last 14. The Yankees are in sole possession of last place this late for the first time since 1990. But Anthony Rizzo hit his first home run since May 20th, changed his walk-up song to Taylor Swift's. Are you ready for it? And he went 4 for 4 with a home run. The magic of Taylor Swift for Anthony Rizzo. He's a Swiftie.
The Swiftie power.
That's right. Carlos Rodon, by the way, fell to 0-3 with a 7.36 ERA as they were swept 3 games against the Angels. In that 3 games against the Angels, the Yankees struck out 42 times.
It's a good thing they got that new hitting coach.
I mean, is this a year that Cashman's finally out? Like, because everybody just keeps writing his epitaph, but it just seems like that man he's like Jason, man. You can't get rid of him.
I mean, they are 6 games over 500. It's not like they're bad. I mean,
and they've had like their best player's been hurt most of the year.
That's been the biggest problem. Their lineup's been terrible since he's been hurt. So, and they're not too far. I mean, they're only 2 out of the wild card. So even though they're in last place in the American League East, they're only 2 out of the wild card. It just, they need some of their pitching to get a little bit better, and they need somebody in there. Rizzo finally had a good day. Rizzo hadn't homered since like May. So it's finally good to get him going a little bit, but they need much more than that. Stanton, watching Giancarlo Stanton is just embarrassing. That dude goes up to the plate basically to hit a home run every single time. And if he doesn't hit a home run, he's upset. He had a ground ball to shortstop the other day and did like a twirl in the box and like circled around and then threw his bat, starts with jogging down to first base. Shortstop bobbles the ball. They get the out at second. They get the double play by about 30 feet because Stanton just didn't care, didn't try to run down to first base. It's like a home run or nothing. He's only got 14 home runs on the year, so he sucks. He's a disaster to watch right now.
I think the whole Judge thing, man, it's affecting all the players, I believe. You know? I really believe so. What's his prognosis right now with Judge? Like, what's going on with that?
It's kind of an I don't know deal. Just waiting and hoping and seeing how it feels. I mean, he stubbed his toe and it's just
it feels like when Derek Bell, I think, was on the Mets and he went into Operation Shutdown. Remember? and like nobody really knew what was going on, and he told the press he was in Operation Shutdown. Like it doesn't. I'm not saying that Judge could play, but the whole thing's so weird. Like we have more medical information than we've ever had before. Nobody knows what's going on with this toe injury.
That's my thing. It's like usually with a toe, you know, they have updates on that. Like, oh, he's going to come back. We think he'll be back in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Not even saying anything like that.
No. In the American League Central, Minnesota has a first place lead over Cleveland by 3 games. Minnesota, they swept 3 games against the White Sox. Byron Buxton hit his 16th and 17th home runs of the season. Cleveland, meanwhile, they're 3 games back. They won 4 of 6 this week, won 2 of 3 at Pittsburgh, won 2 of 3 against Philadelphia as well. Then you have Detroit. How far are they back? 7. Then the White Sox are 12 back. They're struggling, despite Luis Robert hitting his 28th home run of the year. And the Royals, Jordan Lyles falls to 1-12. Zach Greinke 1-10. Those are 2 of your starting 5. Greinke's 1-10. Jordan Lyles 1-12. Royals have lost 31 of their last 39 games. They are miserable. Texas Rangers are in first place in the American League West. They swept Tampa Bay. Nathan Eovaldi improved to 11-3 on the season. They did lose 2 of 3 to the Dodgers, giving up 31 runs in that series. Dane Dunning was rocked to fall to 8-3. Martin Perez, however, improved to 8-3. Texas has a big series with Houston this week. Astros are in second place. Kyle Tucker had a 3 home run game against the Oakland A's. Baseball players, how about this? In 13 road game span for Kyle Tucker, baseball players to bat 500 or better with 14 or more extra base hits and 24 RBIs over a span of 13 road games include Rogers Hornsby in 1923, Ty Cobb in 1925, Lou Gehrig in 1930, and Kyle Tucker in 2023. How about that?
That's some great company to be with.
Shout out Kyle Tucker.
One of the greats.
One of the greats. The Angels won 2 of 3 against Pittsburgh. Shohei allowed 4 home runs, but did get a win. He was 8-5. Trey Cabbage hit his first home run in the big leagues. One of my favorite names in baseball now. Yeah.
I saw somebody on Twitter said you're supposed to pronounce it with a French, like Trey Cabbage. Sounds like cooler.
No, Cabbage. Trey Cabbage. Shohei is 36th. Angels have won 5 of their last 6 games. And then Oakland, they lost 3 of 4 to Houston. They were shut out for the 11th time this season. And they are pitiful. Not a good team. 28-74. Royals are 28-73 as they battle it out for the worst spot in Major League Baseball. All right, some of our favorites. Shohei Ohtani, his week. How about 5 of 16, 8 runs, a double, a triple, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, and 8 walks. He's hitting .302 with 36 bombs and 77 RBIs. He's 8-5 pitching with 148 strikeouts. Shohei had a streak of scoring at least 1 run in 9 straight games. His 3rd such streak of at least 8 games this season. The only player with more 8-game streaks of scoring a run scored in the same season in the modern era, Babe Ruth.
Wow.
Did it 4 times in 1921. Amazing.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
By the way, since we're talking about Shohei, trade deadline is the August 1st, which is a week from today.
Right.
And next weekend, like what could be his last series with the Angels at Atlanta. Out there.
Why not just change clubhouses? I heard on the Atlanta broadcast last week they were talking about Shohei, and who I forget who was doing color for that game, but they said they were talking about Shohei, being cheered and everything in Seattle at the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And they're like, a lot of teams are going to cheer Shohei if they want to get him. And I think Atlanta fans will probably be cheering him here in a couple of weeks to cheer Shohei when he comes here too. And Brandon says, well, where would you play him? And they said, anywhere he wants.
Yeah.
Where would you play him?
We'll find a place.
Sorry, Eddie Rosario.
Basically.
We got to keep you in left field.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Where would they play him?
Sorry, Marcelo Zuna. You got a DH.
Yeah, I think they'd figure it out just fine.
Yeah.
Shohei, since May 6th, Shohei has had 10 games where he failed to reach base safely since May 6th. Angels are 0-10 in those games. And they've scored 17 runs in the games that Shohei hasn't been on base. He's unbelievable. Juan Soto, 6 of 20 this week, 300, 6 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 6 walks, hitting .265 now. His numbers are up to 19 homers and 60 RBIs. Soto's he had his 14th career multi-home run game this week. The only other players in National League history with 14 multi-home run games before turning 25 years old are Eddie Matthews, Mel Ott, Bob Horner, Willie Mays, Bryce Harper, and now Juan Soto. Yeah. Bob Horner. Man.
He could hit.
Yeah, he could. He got his gut into it usually.
He's got hurt all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, one of the worst Cardinals ever.
He's a great Brave.
Yeah, he was, but one of the worst Cardinals ever. And then Ellie De La Cruz had a rough week, 3 of 23. Did hit a homer, an RBI, and a stolen base. He's got 17 RBIs and 17 stolen bases. Had his 5th home run of the season on Sunday. He tied Barry Bonds for the second fewest games needed to reach 5 home runs and 15 stolen bases since 1900, reaching the mark in his 40th game. Gary Redus did it in 27 games in 1982 and 83. Gary Redus on the list.
I remember him.
Yeah. My betting the Cardinals this week, I went 2-5 betting the Cardinals this week. Damn Cubs.
See, they're trying to tell you something, Fish. Stop betting on your Cardinals, man.
I'm now 50-50 on the season betting the Cardinals, which is still a 6-game lead over the Cardinals themselves. So I'm doing all right. Here's what's coming up this week. Cardinals are in Arizona for 3 and then back home again to take on the Cubs for another 4-game set with Chicago. Cubbies are they're staying in town, going to the White Sox, however, for a couple of games and then going to St. Louis for the 4. Atlanta, meanwhile, in Boston for 2 games and then home against the Milwaukee Brewers for 3. Go get the Brewers, Lang.
Please.
And then we
just did.
I know.
Get him again. Get him again. Sweep him, please.
We got Baltimore at Philadelphia this week. Good series there. Texas at Houston, a 3-game series getting started tonight. And Cincinnati at Milwaukee, a race for the top spot in the National League Central. The Mets are at the Yankees for 2. And then this weekend, you got Tampa at Houston, top 2 teams in the West, in the American League West, for a 3-game weekend series. The Yankees in Baltimore trying to gain a little ground for 3 games. The Angels will visit Toronto for 3, and Cincinnati in Los Angeles against the Dodgers for 3 this weekend as well. All right, fellas. What else you got? What else you got for me?
Go Cubbies. That's what I got.
Go Cubbies. Go Cardinals. Man, my only goal right now for the Cardinals is to catch the Cubs. And I just don't know if that's possible.
Anything's possible, especially with herky-jerky hitting that we've been having. Like it's been great the past 3 or 4 games, but sometimes we get a little quiet with the bats. So we'll see.
Well, I apologize for my silhouette.
The Yosemite Bowl thing you got going on. I'm surprised it didn't change your voice.
I know. I was sitting in the sun and all my equipment started to fry and said I couldn't use it until the temperature went down. So I thought I'd change because I wanted to give you the beach, right?
Well, you look like Cardinals fans, like in the way the Saints fans wear the bags over their heads. This is like witness protection, Cardinal fan.
I'm just not a fan of the Cardinals this year.
Yeah. Is that Rob Fisher?
No. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Gentlemen, have a good week. Enjoy the baseball this week. We'll do it again next week here on Infield Fly for Lang Whitaker and Keith Murphy. I'm Rob Fisher. Enjoy the action this week. We'll do it again next week here on Infield Fly on Grind City Media.